Venezuela has been rocked by two earthquakes within 60 seconds, and that too of magnitude 7.2 and 7.5 respectively. When we are talking about Venezuela, which has been in news geopolitically, this time Venezuela is in the news for the reasons where we are seeing disaster taking away lives. But the question here is that why earthquake happened in Venezuela? What are the factors bringing in? Is Venezuela in the Pacific Ring of Fire? And what led to the culmination of twin earthquakes? Hello everyone, welcome to Vajram and Ravi's Flash News. My name is Shubhangi Singh, and in today's session we are going to understand in detail that how these earthquakes have taken place in Venezuela. So let us begin with understanding that what exactly has unfolded. So Venezuela has declared a state of emergency, and this declaration, even though geopolitically it remains still in a very questionable position where there is only the interim leader is present and the equation with US has not gained any clarity at all. But two earthquakes have struck this very country. Now these two earthquakes happened in less than 60 seconds consecutively, and the first one was of magnitude 7.1, the other one of 7.5. Now the epicenter is very close to Venezuela's Caribbean coast, but the depth variation has been present in both of these earthquakes. Now when we are looking at this, we first have to understand that what exactly went beneath the surface that this earthquake originated here. Now on this note, first I want to know from your end, do you think Venezuela is part of Pacific Ring of Fire or not? Let me know in the comment section. I'll be revealing the answer very soon. Now when we are looking at this particular place geographically, first we have to understand that Venezuela, which is a country in South America, you can see in the given map, this is the South American continent boundary that we are looking at. And Venezuela is right in the northern South America. Now when we are talking about this country, the location of earthquakes you can see is right here. Now you have understood the location of the country and you have understood where the earthquake has struck. Now let us bring another layer to understand more that how this earthquake happened. Now when we are talking about Venezuela, which is located right here, can you see that it is at the boundary of two plates? First is South American plate, the other one is which one? Caribbean plate. Another contributing factor can also be that you can see a smaller plate is also present. So some sort of tri-junction is also forming very close to Venezuela. So this gives you a fair idea that what kind of plate positioning is present beneath Venezuela. Now that we have a clarity on this, now let us look into the faults. Because once we have discussed the faults, then we can understand the movement of plate and how this earthquake has happened. Now when we are looking here, what we get to see, there are three major faults which are present between the South American and Caribbean plate. These three major faults are San Sebastian, then we have El Pilar and Oca and Con. Now these are three major faults which are present here. Now when we are speaking about plate interactions, two plates when they are lying close to each other, there can be three kinds of interaction leading to three kind of plate boundaries. So if plates are moving towards each other, this is a convergent plate boundary. That means both of the plates are coming towards each other, and this is where you can also see formation of mountains. For example, when we are looking at Indo-Australian plate and the Eurasian plate coming together leading to formation of Himalayas. There can be another interaction where we have continental ocean, but we are not going to go in that detail. Let's quickly have a recap so that we can understand this better. The second one, we have divergent boundary where plates are moving away from each other. So this is where what we will be seeing, that once plates are moving away from each other, this is where there will be formation of new crust which we see in the transatlantic ridge. And third, we have a transform boundary where the plates are moving parallelly against each other in the different directions. This is the third boundary. Can you give me an example of the third boundary? A very famous fault which is present, where we can clearly see the fault emerging and the movement is transform boundary movement of the plates. Now when we are looking at these faults being present and two of the plates interacting right here, Now remember this, and next we will be understanding that how earthquakes happen, and everything will align for you and you will be able to understand how this earthquake took place. Now when we are talking about earthquakes, what we get to see that they happen when Earth's tectonic plates move against each other or move apart from each other, and there is release of stress. And how this stress is released? In form of energy which creates seismic waves, and they are the ones which radiate outwards and they create destruction. Now where this stress is released, that is the main point beneath the surface, that is called focus. The exact point above the focus is known as epicenter. Now it is these waves which are responsible for the destruction that we see. Now as I said, earthquakes will happen where there is movement of tectonic plates, where there is a possibility of friction, where there is possibility of energy release. And just now we saw that Venezuela is at the boundary of one small and one big plate, furthermore with three big faults present right here. So the possibility of Venezuela having an earthquake is comparatively limited because it is not part of Pacific Ring of Fire, but because of this interaction of the plate boundaries present right here, this earthquake has occurred. So yes, Venezuela not part of Pacific Ring of Fire, the earthquakes are comparatively limited as we see in the Pacific Ring of Fire, but when we are talking about Venezuela, the reasons are right in front of us. Now this is not the only disaster that we need to talk about here, because with these deep-seated earthquakes with such high magnitude, there are alerts for tsunami as well. And the alerts have been given out to especially the Virgin Islands and Dominican Republic, the islands which are very closely located to Venezuela. Why are we saying that tsunami risk exists? I have mentioned two things. First, the depth of earthquake here has been 22 km for one, which is a deep-seated one. Second, the magnitude here is high. Now, both of these magnitudes clearly show that they have the force which can displace seawater, they can generate long wavelength tsunami waves, and it is going to affect the lives or also the infrastructure which is present along the coastline. So as of now, what we have seen that the alert has been issued for Dominican Republic and also Virgin Islands located right here. And all of this gives us a clear insight into that disaster management remains one of the most important factor when we are trying to fight something that is unpredictable. These are natural disasters with limited prediction. The best we can do is through preparedness, through mitigation, and that comes with disaster management. So what are the lessons that we get out of it? When we are talking about earthquakes, what we can do only here is risk reduction. We cannot eliminate earthquakes. It is very difficult to predict earthquakes way too early to ensure full protection. So we need to bring in structural changes so that earthquake resistant buildings are present. We have to retrofit the old structures so that they can survive earthquakes, and proper seismic zoning regulation should also exist. Can you tell me in the comment section that how many seismic zones are present in our country? But at the same time, this will not be enough. We also need to focus on non-structural changes for better warning system, public awareness campaigns. Public should know that if an earthquake is incoming and what should be done after that. For example, people should leave their building and move towards open spaces. Mock drills should be done so that people know that they shouldn't panic and how they should react in such situation. And there should be proper emergency evacuation plans in place to actually ensure if there is an emergency, what would be the ways that people can be saved from it. Now that was all from my side. Now I'll be leaving you here with a prelims practice question. Let me know the answer to this in the comment section. I'll be waiting for your answers. Thank you so much.